Finally time. Boys, it's Banlist time. Hello everyone, my name is Ben, coming back with a different kind of video today. For those of you who aren't aware, the Digimon TCG has just released a brand new ban list. And long story short, if you want my opinions of the current ban list, I think it's pretty good. But without wasting any of your time, it's time for another ban list review. So, let's get to it. Whew, already starting off with a banger hit. Now, for those who are unaware, Ukon has been a rather controversial Digimon for the TCG, and the community has been rather vocal in primarily getting the BT16 Ukon hit. And to be honest, I was actually scared that they would, because that would have been a big mistake. The reason why the promo Ukon is better than the BT16 Ukon is because he by himself already offsets cards that people are teching like Digimon Emperor. Meaning that in order to actually slow down the aggro potential, they were forced to play multiple copies of Digimon Emperor in their deck, which does eat up a lot of deck space. And sometimes cards like Digimon Emperor are straight up dead in other matchups. And unlike the BT16 Ukon, the promo Ukon costs 0 memory to Digivolve, meaning that it's actually good at all stages of the game, while giving you memory extension whenever you need it. Whereas the BT16 Ukon always costing 1, it really does have diminishing returns as the games go past turn 2. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded if both Ukos got hit, but ultimately, I'm just glad they hit the right one. A 10 out of 10. Next card. Holy! Another banger. They just keep bringing out bangers. Bandai, I love you right now. There isn't a single card in the Digimon TCG that I hated more, since the Bubblegum, mind you, than this card. Now, I'm sure people are already well aware of how annoying the Ukon rush strategy is, especially when they go Ukon into Ukon into Ukon into another Ukon. It's pretty annoying. But what people don't realize that that strategy was kind of only made possible because of this card. And normally, I've actually found that people are focusing a little bit too hard on seeing this card as more of a hybrid for game, hence why they were fine with this on multiple copies. Except, people don't really realize the snowball aspect of this card. Because at worst, this just gives you 1 memory every single time you promote, which, again, offsets tech cards that people were forced to run, like Emperor. And this is only with having 1 Louie in the board, mind you. If you get to the course of the game when there's multiple of these on the field, this card snowballs really fast. And for those of you who have played against the Auger Rush or Gobble Rush strategies, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Excellent hit at 20 out of 10. F*** Louie. Huh. Honestly, I'm surprised this card wasn't hit sooner. Zero cost memory options have always been tricky, and this card being good since set 1, it feels really weird and surreal to finally see it get hit. And honestly, judging from the looks of this ban list, it's looking like we're gonna be going into a heavy blue meta. And with Hammer Spark at multiple copies, they were really able to cheat out a lot of ridiculous plays. And unfortunately, because Hammer Spark just costs 0 memory, players can't really play around it. Part of what makes the memory gauge system so interesting in Digimon is that you can actually play around your opponent's plays based on how much memory you give them. And because cards like Hammer Spark were around, there would be a lot of cases where you really thought out your plays, only for your opponents to just go, haha, Hammer Spark? And then they do their broken combo anyway. So realistically, it is just a combo enabler that players just can't play around, because it just comes out of nowhere. I'm honestly just glad that they hit it in the one color that draws the most. I give it an 8 out of 10. I would have honestly given it a higher score, but that is just because there's another blue option I would have liked to have been hit as well. Anyways, next card. Yes! Another banger hit. Gone are the days where Magna X players are able to just swing with their armor forms, go into the Awakening of the Golden Knight to go into an untouchable boss monster, swing for 2 more checks, all in turn 2. Not to mention, this is an extremely big hit to the yellow vaccine variant of the deck, mainly because they don't really play Magnamons at all. So that means they really relied on a card like this to be able to cheat out their Magna X. So blue-based Magna, while it is still viable, it is much more manageable to deal with in my opinion, and it's probably how the deck was intended to be played too. So, Magna X? A 10 out of 10. Next card. Wow, that's surprising. Mainly because this was the core strategy of why Numoon as a deck was viable in the first place, at least in my opinion. And seeing as this was one of the main core strategies that abused the Ukon engine in the first place, Numoon just got absolutely gutted. Usually I'm not a huge fan of outright killing decks, but considering how Numoon was the top deck for such a long time, I don't blame Bandai for hitting it. A 7 out of 10 for me. Next card. Now this is another surprising one. Honestly, after thinking about this some more, I think this is a really good choice. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about Yellow Vaccine strategies as a whole, and hence why they've been really wanting the BT-14 Patamon to get hit. But personally, I've never been a huge fan of outright nuking Yellow's viability. The BT-14 TK was the sole reason why you were able to set up the BT-14 Patamon so efficiently, and usually that is how you were able to get it set up by turn 2. But the thing is, when this card was at multiple copies, it was very easy for the deck to snowball quite well, and a lot of the times you would see a Yellow Vaccine player starting their turn with a bajillion memory, which is pretty bull. Plus, this card is kind of the sole reason why generic Yellow Vaccine decks, like Magna X, even exist. Whereas decks like 3 Great Angels still have plenty of ways to set up their security. But unlike the BT-14 TK, those cards aren't generic. So, solid hit, Bandai. 9 out of 10. Next card. Oh hey, Purple Melga's playable.
It's the West. It's always Magna X.
I'm fine with the back. A 10 out of 10. Man, overall, I genuinely think this ban list was very good. And for those of you who are interested, Bandai does leave an explanation on the reasoning for all the cards on the ban list, so I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below if you guys want to read it for yourself. I think after this ban list, it's looking to be a very heavy blue meta, but the key takeaway that I want to bring up here is that unlike the previous meta, this meta is much less high rolly. While I was prepping for regionals, I found that the top decks of that meta could find themselves in a winning position as soon as turn 2, which isn't a really fun meta to plan for. Man, August 31st is going to be such a lit format. Wait. That's the day of regionals!